Welcome back to the channel. This isn't a exactly happy video. This is a little PSA for everyone that gets told that they shouldn't get their tune adjusted for little changes that they make. The car will compensate, the computer, and all that type of jazz that people tell you. Don't listen to them, because I've sprayed the hell out of this motor, beat the hell out of it, made tons and tons of passes, giving it all kinds of torture over the last 4 years at least. And whenever I swapped the Brian Tooley intake on from the Fast that blew up a couple videos back, I went and raced a no prep event. Car was spitting and sputtering whenever I would shift, and it was rich and it'd pull through, and me being hard-headed and competitive just wanted to race. So I went, ran it, and I actually heard it on the street just driving it and beating on it some. It was getting so rich on the shifts. My belief is that it's cracked a ringland, because I took it to get dynoed last week. The car was already smoking. It was already giving me some issues, but I had it set up. And I took the car, and it was smoking pretty heavily out of the catch can and out of the vent can right there on the valve cover. Never had done that before, never gave me an issue. Well, Marco Vegatune was dialing the car in, getting it better, and I noticed on one of the pulls that it had started to leak some water underneath it. So the car has LS9 head gaskets, ARP head studs, so shouldn't really be an issue unless something was messed up by me. And obviously that's why there's a head gasket sitting here. So long story short, it made 670 horsepower, down 2 cylinders, come to find out. I came home and did a compression check, and I started over here on the driver's side, 162, 160. Okay, that's good. 25, it barely even ticked the needle. And then 75, just a hair more. And that's right where it's leaking through the head gasket. So, as you can see, the passenger side checked out good. The car right now will crank and run and idle like nothing's wrong for the most part. The only thing is the catch can will puff a lot of smoke out, and that's due to there being no compression. So the air's coming in through the intake, into the cylinder, past the rings, down into the crankcase, swirling around, and back out through the piston again, and into pressurizing the valve covers. And so that's what we're looking at now. So my solution is, my buddy that lives in Oklahoma, Josh Townsend, he owns a machine shop out there, and he's sending me 2 pistons for an LQ4 Generation 3. And my plan is, since the car has a tubular K member, I can pull the intake off, pull the driver's head off, jack the car up, loosen the K member down, and then hopefully either spin the oil pan out of the way or drop the oil pan completely and remove the 2 rod bolts on each rod, push it out through the top since the head will be out of the way, take my new used pistons, push them in, and hopefully tighten it up and go back to running until I can get a built motor done for it. Like I said, this is all my fault. It's nothing to do with what anyone else has done. I ran it untuned. I shouldn't have. I know better. I never ran it untuned when I was spraying nitrous. I don't know why this was any different. Just being hard-headed. Lesson learned. Now it's about, I could be out racing and driving and beating on the car right now, but now I have to spend a couple days working on it. So I'm going to document that here as good as I can, and hopefully just do it here in the garage with my basic set of tools. I mean, I got basic hand tools. I mean, that's the little box that I use for everything. And hopefully it's not too bad. I'm going to get started on it and do check-ins and kind of keep y'all updated. It'll be similar to the last video of pulling the intake and putting it on, but this time we'll be going into pulling the head off and all that. So definitely get whenever I pull the pan and all on video too. So sorry about the long rambling and the long video, but let's get started. All right, checking in. Got the head ready to come off. See the studs? Took all the nuts off. Inside, they're all off. On the bottom, they're all off. I was able to get the manifold out. Power steering pump's just hanging. See the V-band where the manifold was. Took the rocker stands out, the push rods. About to snatch the head off. Hopefully it's not too bad. We'll see what the cylinder looks like and the head gasket. Alright, got the head off. A little bit of coolant. Nothing crazy. There's our 2 cylinders in question. Gonna dive into it a little more and check it out. Gonna pull the head gasket off. The head looks fine. Nothing crazy with it. So gonna pull it, put it back together hopefully here soon and see how it is. Well, this is working in the garage at its finest. Supporting the motor, this crossbar. Hey, got the pan off. It's been a struggle. Got a pile of tools. Been a lot of maybe this will work and maybe that'll work, and there's the bottom end. Good old stock rod and piston. People don't believe me. I'm gonna see how a little bit of metal on the pickup. That's probably from whenever I freaking actually I know that is when I put my fittings in for the pan. So good thing that thing's there. Pretty good bit of metal in there actually. I thought I cleaned it up pretty good, but that saved my bacon. I'm gonna take the shield off tomorrow, then get the 2 pistons out that are bad. Hopefully the video isn't oriented all weird, but yeah, we getting there. Pistons be here soon, and hopefully going back together isn't too bad, but we'll see. It's been a challenge this far, but nothing but time. Check back in. Well, got the pan off. Good old stock piston and rod setup. Had a fair amount of nitrous shot through this car and killed it by driving around without a tune from an intake swap. But hopefully we're about to get that resolved. Does have K-Tech rod bolts. It's the only thing done to the bottom end. See, piston and rod, old stock Gen 3 stuff. Press in wrist pins. I'm gonna hopefully pull these 2. Then get the new ones pressed on. If only I would have listened to my gut and let the car sit till I got the tune addressed, but lesson learned. That's one of the bad ones. And then that one. This whole garage rebuild. Nothing special, nothing fancy, nothing shiny up under here. Some old junkyard LS stuff. But we about to throw some more junkyard LS pistons in it and See what she'll do. Well, here we are. Got them out. You can see, where is it? Right there. Sorry about the shaky camera. I'm trying to do this one hand, not drop anything. That gap shouldn't be there. That's your ringling. Should be solid. Like that. Not like that, where it's cracked. I can't get it to spread again, but you can see it. Good old dished LQ4 Generation 3 piston. There's the other one. Joker's been through war. Made a lot of fast passes. Won some money, lost some money. Won some races and lost some races, but they never gave me any trouble till I was stupid and beat on the car untuned. Like I said, I'm going to say it 100 times in this video just because I'm still that pissed off at myself. But lessons learned. That is life. But about to take them and get the new piston pressed on, and then hopefully get back here today and get it thrown back together. Oh yeah, you can see this is my rig holding the motor. Lift plate on the valley cover. Shout out to Zach at SOB helping me out. Cylinder walls look good, so gonna give them a little wipe down and drop the new shit in there and let her eat some more. Check back in. Well, the Camaro garage, engine in the car, piston swap. It's about to start going back together. For the people that didn't know, even with a Huron Speed Turbo Kit, if you've got a BMR tubular K member, you can let the K member hang down. I got the transmission supported with that block of wood. You can get the pan out and swap a couple pistons. So, gotta start putting it back together. Hopefully everything kind of falls back into place. Alright, started going back together. Got the two new to me pistons in there. A little cleaner than the other two. Went in pretty good. Lining up the engine mounts down here was a little bit of a battle, but it wasn't too terrible. Got it buttoned up pretty much up underneath. Got the turbo feedback, same old filter. I'm gonna crank it, make sure it doesn't make any crazy noises, and drain the oil straight out of it. So reusing this old filter. But K member's back into place. Everything's tight. Didn't have to disconnect any of the suspension or anything, so little motivation and effort. Do a piston swap in the garage with a tubular K member on a Camaro, so hopefully be firing it up later today. Alright, got the head on. Wasn't too bad, it's kind of tight to get it on there with the studs. Making sure that none of the harness and stuff is hit at the back was my main concern. But got the torque specs, gonna start torquing down. Hopefully goes pretty easy, should be pretty straightforward. Gonna see how fast it goes and maybe keep chipping away at it today, or just be at a good stopping point and finish it up tomorrow. It's not been too bad, just trying to take my time, make sure I'm checking all my boxes, not skipping anything. It's crazy how far the car was just torn apart this morning and how much better it's looking already. Just keep chipping away at it, and this is definitely a sign that if you are motivated, you can do this kind of work yourself. I mean, I Got a pile of sockets right there. I mean, that's my little toolbox. Freaking, I've had to borrow a couple sockets, but nothing major. I have an ARP harmonic balancer bolt, so that's an 1/1/16 or 27mm 12 point. Luckily, my friend Noel had one, so I was able to borrow from him. My buddy Tyler's helped me out with a few sockets, so it hasn't been too bad. Nothing real crazy out of the ordinary. Like I said, I just have some basic Husky box from Home Depot, and then a set of Craftsman ratchet wrenches that, you know, make certain things a little bit easier, but AutoZone pulley puller for the power steering pump. So like I said, it don't take a huge snap-on box to do some stuff, but you do have to make a few things work, but it's not too bad. Well, getting close. Had a good day today. Got the power steering pump mounted back, head on, new gasket. Had to put a bolt on a different bolt, a nut on a different bolt right there, because the ARPs were actually stripping out a little bit, so I put a longer bolt on there, and that's my little washer fix. I don't care how pretty it is right this minute. I want to get it back running. I can change that pretty easy. I gotta press the pulley back on, valve covers, which that's easy, and then drop the intake on, drop the fuel lines down. So hook the fuel lines under the car. I gotta put oil in it, which I probably will do here tonight, so it'll sit overnight and I can see if it's leaking any. Hopefully not, because I really don't want to tear it back apart or anything. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and put some oil in it now, but it's getting close. Be firing it up on the next one, hopefully, or actually I might do a little clip of everything back together. If you watch the other videos, you know what it looks like, but I'm gonna go ahead and document it for this group of videos. But hopefully it'll keep trucking along, and we'll be back running here soon. All right, back together. Looks like normal. Nothing crazy. We're gonna try and prime the fuel system, make sure there's nothing leaking, and I'll get a video of it running. Hopefully it's all good, not making any crazy sounds, and can take it and get it finished dialed in on the tune.